lecture has been prepared under the auspices of Mankind Research Unlimited for the purpose of assisting in the development of operator personnel for its Agrad equipment. This lecture will cover 4 basic areas: unpacking your unit, testing it to make sure that it's in operating condition, actually setting up the unit for conducting agricultural experiments, and the preparation of reagent materials. When your unit arrives, please carefully unpack the unit to make sure that it has not been damaged in shipment, and that the following items have been included with the shipment: collector plate, cable to connect the collector plate to the machine, and a ground cable. In addition, the following items will be required by the operator for future use: a magnet, a pair of non-metallic tongs such as those used in a dark room, rubber gloves, either the household type of rubber glove or the surgical glove, and crystals of calcium carbonate, CaCO3, known under the mineral name as calcite. Calcite crystals can be obtained from any mineral or gem shop. The non-metallic tongs can be obtained from virtually any dark room or photographic supply store, and the rubber gloves can be obtained from your local drugstore. The use of these materials will be explained in just a few minutes. Right now, the important thing is to make sure that your unit is in operating condition. Plug the Agrad unit into a nearby wall socket and turn on the power switch. At this point, the lamp on the panel should light. Wait 2 minutes and turn on the spray switch, at which point the meter on the panel should indicate that power is flowing through the system. Both of these quick checks will make sure that your unit is in operating condition. Should the unit fail to meet these tests, unplug it, remove the back access panel, and make sure that the battery, which is a D-size dry cell battery, is in place, and that the fuse, which is part of the circuit for the unit, has not blown. If the battery is in place and the fuse either has blown or has not blown, please contact Mankind Research for possible troubleshooting of the unit. It is not recommended that you try to troubleshoot the unit on your own. At this point, we shall assume that your unit is in operating condition and that you are ready to set up for an experiment. First of all, it will be necessary for you to obtain a witness, i.e., a leaf, a twig, a piece of sap, or soil samples from the area which is to be the subject of your experiment. Leaves, sap, twigs are suitable for use with single plants. Photographs are more conducive to the use of large areas such as fields or groups of plants, as in the garden. If you're using a photograph, it is recommended that you try to obtain a photograph in such a way as to minimize the shadows of each plant touching the other. Aerial photography done usually at about high noon for open fields is the best way to proceed in that case. In gardens, simply standing on a ladder at about high noon and taking your photograph should do the job. The type of camera utilized in this photography work is not important. However, handling of the film is. It is important that when the film is loaded into the camera, when it is taken out of the camera and developed, that whoever does the handling utilize the rubber gloves during the handling process. If the type of camera utilized was either a Polaroid or one of the Kodak Instamatic cameras, then much of the film handling, because of the nature of the film and the fact that the cameras do the development work, can be eliminated. Simply load the film into the camera, utilizing your rubber gloves. When the picture is taken, remove it from the camera, have it developed, and handle it only with the rubber gloves. The same holds true for anyone doing the developing in a laboratory. This is necessary because you want to minimize the influence of the operator's own energies on the film. The gloves will help to insulate those energies. Use of the rubber gloves also holds true when handling or obtaining any other witness materials such as leaves, stems, twigs, or sap. Once you've obtained your witness materials, set up your equipment in the following fashion. Extend the antenna on the top of the unit as far as it will go vertically. Plug the unit into a wall socket. Take your collector plate and its cable and connect them together. Then take the cable's other end and connect that to the appropriately marked jack plug on the unit. This will be either marked collector or spray. Then take your ground cable and connect it to the machine, and then proceed with making your ground. Grounding the unit should be done with an earth ground, such as a spike driven in the ground and then connecting the ground cable to it. If this is not obtainable, a water pipe, a radiator if you happen to have steam radiator heat, or in a house built after 1975 in the United States, take the center screw of the power plug plate and connect that to the ground. Just unscrew it a little bit and connect them together. That should also be ground. Once you've obtained your ground and set up the equipment, go over the collector plate with your magnet very, very slowly. The purpose of this is to clean off any energies that were on the plate from the last time it was used or handled. It is important when handling your collector plate to do so utilizing your rubber gloves at all times. Once you've cleaned the plate magnetically, turn on the power switch of the unit and let the tubes heat up for about 5 minutes. This will permit the unit to clean itself out magnetically inside, so that any vibrations left from the last time the unit was used are also cleaned. While the unit is cleaning itself out magnetically, proceed to set up your collector plate. This is done by placing your witness, utilizing your rubber gloves, and also, if possible, your non-metallic tongs on the collector plate, along with a crystal of calcium carbonate. The calcium carbonate acts as a kind of catalyst and has been determined to help in the transmission of the energies. Once this is done, go ahead and turn on the spray switch for about 10 minutes. This will allow the unit to tune itself to the collector plate and its contents. Once this is done, turn off the collector plate switch or spray switch, however it's marked, and place your reagent materials on the collector plate, or if you're utilizing a photograph, place them on the area of the photograph which is the subject of your experiment, and put the photograph back down onto the the collector plate print side down, utilizing your rubber gloves and your non-metallic tongs in handling these materials. Then turn the spray switch or collector switch back on and your experiment is underway. Keep the unit operating for about 10 to 15 additional minutes, or about a half hour to 45 minutes all told for the entire operation. Then turn the unit off, first with your spray switch or collector switch and then your power switch. Each time that you are going to broadcast, set up the equipment as has just been described. Your broadcast should be made at approximately the same time of day, every other day, for approximately a 2-week to 10-day period, during which time record your results. Probably one of the most important steps in designing or conducting any Agrad experiment is the selection and preparation of reagent materials. Reagents should be selected from nature, although commercial chemicals are also viable reagents. But the whole point of Agrad is to try and get away from the use of these chemicals and to seek nature's remedies. Therefore, consult your local library or bookstore for those materials that relate to organic gardening in order to seek out information regarding those plants and minerals which are possessed of disease retardant and insect repellent properties. In addition to this, Mankind Research has in its files lists of reagents available for sale which were developed by General Gross and his associates during the course of their research into the Agrad process more than 20 years ago. For these materials, you will have to contact Mankind Research and regarding cost. Once your reagent is selected, only small quantities of that reagent are required on your collector plate or in your photograph if that's what you're using for your witness. To obtain small quantities of these reagents, preparation of a homeopathic solution is advised. This is done by taking either your mineral or your plant and dissolving it in solution. In the case of a mineral, grind the mineral with a mortar and pestle until a fine powder is obtained. Then dissolve the mineral either in water, alcohol, or a mild acid. Once this is done, take 1 milliliter of the solution obtained. Place that in 10 milliliters of distilled water. Shake by hand approximately 100 times. Remove 1 milliliter of solution from the container just shaken. Place that in another 10 milliliters of distilled water and shake 100 times until such time as you have repeated this process a total of 7 times. In the case of a plant, grind the plant either in a food processor or a blender. Remove 1 milliliter of juice and dilute that, as previously described for mineral, in your distilled water solutions 7 times. When handling reagent materials, when handling plants, always utilize your rubber gloves. When preparing your solutions, use your rubber gloves. The idea is to reduce your influence in the process as much as possible. Once you've obtained your solution, You are now ready to proceed with your experiments. The solution may be placed on your witness or your photograph with an eyedropper, or on the collector plate, depending on how you're proceeding. This concludes our lecture at this time. Aloha.